Welcome to the Geek Easy Fellow Geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice. Because today I'm going to be reviewing the first issue, The Return of a Character that I grew up reading. Back in the 80s. I think the character was first introduced late 70s for like a 4 or 5 issue run. And then volume 2 came out in the 80s. That's when I started reading him. And I absolutely loved reading him. Firestorm, the Nuclear Man. Then he got done, and I didn't get any of the new 52 stuff. But then when I found out they were bringing him back with this, I called my LCS and said, pull it. I want it on my pull list. So, here we have The Fury of Firestorm, number 1. This is volume, I think at least 3. Doesn't really say here. But anyway, how is this different? Well, it's back to being Ronald Raymond, Professor Stein, the original Firestorm Matrix. It is written by Jeff Lemire. And let's see, let's get the written by Jeff Lemire, art by Raphael D. Latore, and colors by Marcelo Maillo Mialo. Alright, anyway. So, here we have it. And when I heard of this, I was like, oh, please don't let it suck. Please don't let it suck. Please don't let it suck. So let me go over this and let you know as to whether or not it sucks. And so it starts out with a countdown of day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1 has Firestorm on the first day 1. On the first day, the Nuclear Man descended from the heavens. You can sort of see it like that. And he is in a small town in Bedford. So he just kind of walks around, and you can see he looks kind of vacant. Third day, he just starts hanging out, and he's kind of alone, but he's talking as if he's talking to somebody else, and you know sort of why. But then he just starts changing things. It says here, and on the third day, the Nuclear Man began to experiment. He wanted to know what it would be like to live in a world of glass and chalk. So he made one. Not everyone liked living in a world of glass. The townspeople cried out and wrung their hands, demanded the Nuclear Man put things back to normal. And he didn't do it. So then day 4, he takes over with them as well. So he's just sitting there doing this weird stuff. And then, he starts changing stuff. And then, this is day 7, he rested. It says, and on the 7th day he rested, for soon there would come the Fury. So now it switches to Pittsburgh. Go Steelers. Doesn't say that in the book, but I just threw that in there. And you have the home of Lorraine Riley. And if you those of you who know who that is, Lorraine Riley was his girlfriend, and she became Firehawk. And they want some Department of Defense guys come and asking for. They wanted to come with him, and they said, "You don't have a choice. So let me get dressed." And they know of her history with him, and they want her help. And so they get to Bedford, and they get these suits on, saying, "Okay, well, these suits will protect us from him. We want you to help confront him." And they said, "You better put a suit on." And she says, "Yeah, I brought my own." So she goes out there and sees what's going on, and she goes to talk to Firestorm. And she's like, "Ronnie," and she realizes he's not. That's not really Ronnie. And turns out that the suits didn't work. They didn't protect them from him. And then you see what's going on in his head. He's trapped in this kind of loop. Back in the day, where it's him and Professor Stein. They're talking. He's taking on what is his name? The old werewolf, the hyena. And he's like, "Oh, it's not the full moon." Yada yada yada. And kind of turns out that that's all in Firestorm's head. And see Ronnie Raymond, he goes back and he's like, "This, but you're not supposed to be here." He says, "I no longer belong to you, Ronald Raymond. I belong to no one." Then it switches back to the loop from the begin. At this point, they mentioned earlier that Stein was no longer part of the Firestorm Matrix. So it's just Ronald Raymond. It was supposed to be just Ronald Raymond. But it turns out that that maybe he's not, because he says that you see him come back to a reality where he comes back and says, "I belong to no one. This is what are you doing?" This is, I'm no one. And she says, "I don't know him." It turns out I don't know him at all. We need to find Professor Stein. And you can see Professor Stein right here. And he's burning some papers and says, "Is it sentient?" So this is putting up a whole new version of Firestorm, a whole new track on it. It's getting a little darker than what it used to be, because Firestorm used to be kind of what do you call it? A little hopeful. It was a teenager out having fun doing stuff like this. Now you have Stein and separated from the Matrix. Firestorm Matrix. You have is Ron Raymond even in charge of this anymore? Is the Firestorm? This is really intriguing, and I love what they're doing with this. It's a whole new direction on it. And with his power, Firestorm is Omega level. He is probably one of the most powerful beings there is. The man could kill Superman. No, Firestorm couldn't kill Firestorm. Superman with the flip of a finger, just turn the molecules of the air around him into kryptonite. He did it before. He didn't kill him, but he turned it into kryptonite. He can rearrange these things at the atomic level, so he's super powerful. I love the direction they're going with this right now, with this. And I highly recommend this book. And I cannot wait for number 2. If this issue is any indication of how it's going to go from now on, it's going to be great. I give this 5 out of 5. And say, pick it up. You don't need to know a lot or much about Firestorm. If you haven't read any stuff before, they cover enough of his background and history, the pertinent details. They have his initial how he became Firestorm versus Stein and Raymond being in charge of the body, and then where he became that other thing, and then the other version with Stein and the other guy. And now it's back to Raymond with no longer Stein. So you have enough information in this that you don't need to have read anything before. But pick it up because I highly recommend this book. And you'll enjoy it. If you've been a Firestorm fan before, you're going to like it. So anyway, let me know if you read Firestorm, if he was where he is in your ranking of favorite characters or not favorite characters. And let me know if you plan on buying the series. Okay, like, subscribe, possibly share, and most of all, enjoy your comics.